So, as somebody who is hiring and training lots of chatters, constantly hiring, constantly training, constantly managing these lovely individuals, it is a major, major, major priority of mine because I realize that the more good chatters you have, the more money you will make. And I guess I should probably make more money with this. I'm going to fucking do it anyway, right? However, occasionally you will need to let somebody go. And yesterday I fired 4 chatters. That still leaves me with 6. So, I got rid of some, but 7 technically. But in this video, I'm going to tell you why I decided to fire 4 chatters. So, what's up, everybody? Yala Poppy from siphunter.com. Check out the links in my description at some point, please. Thank you. Okay. Chatter number 1. Why did I fire him? This individual, I found him from OFM Jobs. He responded to something and he was like, "Hey, man, I'm really, I like your style. Like I feel like he knew who I was before, because like the way that he talked to me, it seemed like he was familiar with me in some way. But anyway, young guy, 19 years old, not from the Philippines. I won't say where he's from because like he's from a place that not a lot of people are from in this business. So I don't know. Do you know him? Probably not, but I'm just not going to tell you where he's from anyway. The Middle East, let's just say. So anyway, he was from there. And I would say probably like he was very westernized. So it was easy for me to talk to him. And I felt like I had a better connection with him than I do with the Filipino chatters who are more like, yes, sir, no, sir, okay, boss type of thing, which I prefer. And now I only work with people who treat me like that, which I'll go over in another video maybe. But with this guy, it was almost more like we were friends. And obviously, that's not the best relationship to have with people that work for you. You do want there to be some distance and some level of like boss to worker respect or worker to boss respect. But this guy, I had a bad feeling about him from the beginning because he was just impatient. When we were doing the training, back then when I hired him, we did 3 days of role play and 2 days of shadowing. Now we do 2 days of role play and 3 days of shadowing. But back then I let him skip a day of the role play because it was clear that like he spoke pretty good English and he just got it super quick. So I was like, okay, like, let me move you through. Let me get you on an account, put him on an account, a great account with a ton of traffic. And he dropped the ball. His reports looked like shit. He didn't put any effort into the reports. They just like looked bad, spelling mistakes, like no capitalization, just formatted very poorly. And he was barely selling. And I brought it to his attention. I was like, I need better report. Anyway, the thing with chatters, and you'll see this as the video goes on, is that like the ones that you fire are the ones that you're gonna have to fucking repeat yourself to over and over. And with this guy, so what I ended up doing is I ended up taking him off that account. I was like, I don't know if I moved him to another account or if I just took him off entirely. I'm not sure. Maybe I moved him to another girl and I ended up cutting that girl. I'm not really sure. I don't remember exactly, but the point is that he stopped working, and I kept him around. I kept him in the group. I didn't really have the heart to fire him, but he kept asking me for an account. He's like, "Hey man, like let me know when you get another account." Because meanwhile, the other chatters in the group are turning in crazy numbers, and I think he saw that and he was like, "Oh man, well I want to fucking get back into this. I shouldn't have dropped the ball." So I ended up putting him on another account that had a ton of potential, 2 accounts actually. And he didn't do anything. He didn't sell, right? And he was making basic mistakes, that he should have known better because like I say the same shit over and over in my fucking group for chatters. In the chat reviews that I do, it's the same shit over and over. Send a fucking personalized message, qualify the sub, meaning ask them fucking questions about themselves. And then when they give you the answers to the questions that you asked, say, can't even fucking talk. Give a commonality about their answer. What is a commonality? Great question. You're talking to a sub. You say, so what do you do for work? Oh, I'm a pelican trainer. Oh, cool. Wow. Yeah. I saw a pelican at the zoo, fucking a couple of years ago. It was crazy. It ate a fish. Whatever. That's a commonality. You relate what they said to you in some way. Doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be, oh, I love pelicans. Pelicans are the best. No, just like any connection at all. Anything. He wasn't doing any of that. So like I I did a chat review for him the other day, and then he did something else where I was like, oh, I know what it was. He asked me for a day off. And I kept telling him, I was like, bro, these accounts that I'm putting you on are super important. They're super important. And he's like, no problem. I got it. And then like, he's like, hey bro, can I have a day off tomorrow? Like, oh, I'm so tired. And I was like, okay, sure. And then I fired him later that day, and I was like, all right, sorry, it's not working out. Send me your last invoice. The second chatter that I fired, those of you who are in my group, you have probably seen, or maybe you saw about a week ago, I posted a very long text chat review of a chatter. It was scathing, very scathing, but informative, you know. And basically what I said is like, this is some of the worst chatting I've ever seen. You didn't follow any of the instructions. You're just doing whatever the fuck you want. You're making every mistake in the book. And like, it's just awful. And then I went and I like said, okay, mistake number 1 was this, and here's what you did, and here's what you should have done. Like and again, I'll repeat what I said earlier, but the people that you should fire are the ones who you have to fucking keep telling over and over the same shit. Like, if you have to tell somebody something multiple times and they still don't get it, and I'm not saying it's like, you know, some obscure thing and they're already doing 50 other things and you have to tell them this and like they forgot, fine. I'm saying like the core part of their job. Like there's 3 things you need to do: personalize messages, fucking qualify, and build commonalities. Like, don't even try to sell. Just do that and you'll make money. But he wasn't doing those things. He was doing whatever the fuck he wanted. So I did another chat review for him. And so with him, I had him on 2 accounts that were very good at first. He was a new chatter, and I was like, okay, let's see what this guy's got. These 2 accounts need a chatter on them. I talked to the manager and I was like, you know, what do you think about this guy? And he's like, let me take him under my wing, boss. Like, he's got potential. Let me do this. Let me do that. I was like, okay, fine. So, I put him on the accounts and he didn't do anything. He did fuck all. The accounts are doing like under $100 a day between the 2 of them. And I was like, I did the chat review and I saw that his chatting was dog shit. And so I took him off those accounts and I put him on 2 very weak accounts. Very weak. Like, I have one girl, she's been with me, like probably been with me for a year at this point. She makes like nothing. So I put him on her accounts and I was like, okay, I really wanted to fire him, but I was like, all right, let's put him on these accounts until I find somebody better. Then all of a sudden, this girl, and she would get like no subs, 0 subs. She was just like, she's the one that fell behind the filing cabinet. I never really thought about her, but she never quit. I never fired her. One day, she starts going crazy on Instagram. Well, really what I did is I told her, like, not a subtle plug here for Trend Hunter, but I told her to go to Trend Hunter and log in and fucking copy reels from there and do 5 a day on 5 accounts. And she did 5 a day on 6 accounts. And then all of a sudden she's getting 50 subs a day. And meanwhile, fucking Retard Chatter is on there. And I saw what was going on. And I said to him, I was like, okay, bro, like, now's your chance. Like, time to step it up. And I think he had one day where he sold like $100. And then after that, it was like $25. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, you can't make any money on 50 fucking subs a day. Like, you're just gone, bro. You're out. You're gone. So I don't think I even did another chat review. I just told him, I was like, hey, bro, listen, like, I decided to let you go. Give me your final invoice, blah, blah, blah. The third chatter, this guy. So, all right, technically this guy quit. The story with him is that he was part of a recent group of chatters that I hired. The thing with him, so, you know, in the videos that I recorded, you know, in the past week, a lot of what I say or what I said was like, you got to be hard on them. You got to be direct with them. You got to tell them they're fucking stupid if they do something wrong, and like heavy hand with the correction. And I no longer think like that. Short version. Maybe I'll make another video on that. But like, I no longer think like that. I have a much softer approach relative. It's still direct. It's still firm, but it's much softer. However, when I hired this guy, I was very hard on his group. To be fair, like I should have removed those people from the training after day one. Like I should have seen that they were not appropriate for the job and just removed them. But instead I kept them in and I pushed them through trying to correct their mistakes. And then I just like handed them off to the fucking, to the experienced chatters to shadow them. And they all quit like within a day just because they shouldn't have been there in the first place. This guy actually made it through. I put this guy on an account, this blonde chick, so flexible. She can fucking put her legs behind her head. Pretty, but like she can put her legs behind her head. I mean, there's money there for sure. And this guy just like was turning in like $50 days. And I was like, and there's traffic on the account, not crazy traffic, but there's enough to do more than $50. She had like 500 subs. Now, okay, side little note here. People are way too reliant on new subs to make money. Like the current meta, I didn't really know this until I started hiring chatters, but the current meta in OFM, and this is just accepted as gospel, is that like you only message the new fans. Like the fans that come in that day, you only DM them and try to sell to them. If the other, like you don't DM people who, you know, you tried to message once and they didn't buy or they didn't respond. And I think that's fucking bullshit. So I don't know what this guy's deal is, but like I told him, I was like, bro, there's 500 people on that account that followed this girl. Fucking, message every single one of them every single day. That's what you need to do. And he just didn't do it. Maybe I'm a bad boss. Maybe it's unfair. I don't give a fuck. I'm paying your salary. That's your fucking job. Go do it. And to be fair, that's what all the other chatters do, and all the other chatters make bank. Well, the good ones at least. So anyway, this guy did a chat review on his account, and I went over it, and there were something like his chatting. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. What was missing from his is that he was starting with prices that were too high, and he was not giving enough. Right. So like, I want them to sell. All right. This whole thing about like, oh, you're devaluing her content. Fine. Okay, sure. But like, I still want the account to do $5,000. I still want the account to do $10,000. If you have to get to $10,000 with $5 sales, I don't give a fuck. Go sell everything for $5. Doesn't matter to me. Like, find the whales through little $5 sales and go fucking make some money. So this guy, what he was doing is he was selling like one picture for $5 or like, you know, one 10-second video for like $35. And it's like, bro, sell it for a cheaper price. Give them a taste. Well, really what it is condition them to purchase. Condition them to purchase frequently. And if you make the act of purchasing too painful, then they're not going to buy. So anyway, I said all this in a chat review, and by this point, I had like revised my style, and I was much more, I was much softer in my, let's say, delivering of feedback. But he basically sent a message. Well, he actually talked to the manager, and the manager messaged me. He's like, hey, listen, you know, this guy's thinking of quitting. His mom's in the hospital and he's the only one who could take care of her, blah, blah, blah. It's funny how many people's have people in the hospital, relatives in the hospital, when it comes time to do work that's hard. I swear to God, or maybe it's the Philippines, or just does everyone go to the fucking hospital for everything in the Philippines? They're all like about to die and like running off to the hospital. I don't know. It's crazy, but like they all got to go to the hospital. So anyway, I told him, I was like, hey, listen, bro, no problem. And I even said in his chat review, I was like, bro, you're not that far off. Like, just tweak a couple things. You're on the cusp. You're close. You're really close. But anyway, he quit. So was it a real reason of quitting? Like, were his sales bad because he had this other personal issue going on? That's also possible. I don't want to, you know, maybe he really did have this, his mom really did go to the hospital. It's possible. You know, I don't want to, if that's true, you know, it sucks for sure. But, you know, salesman quits. All right, whatever. And then the fourth chatter that I fired, okay, so here's the deal with this chatter. It's a Nigerian chatter. It was recommended to me by one of my other chatters. And at first I was like, oh, a Nigerian, finally, like I get to work with an African, like enough of these fucking Filipinos, like, oh, an African, finally, like, and a Nigerian, usually they're pretty smart, right? Nigerians are hustlers. Fuck, I'm not muted, am I? Okay, good. So anyway, I started training this person, and this person was like, they had good English and they were good enough at following instructions. And basically the deal with this person is that so it's a little bit interesting. At this time, was right around, well, okay, so I have the manager, right? And the manager was on 2 good accounts before. He's still on those accounts. As he was working, the accounts got even better, and he's crushing it. He's fucking selling more than everybody, basically. Or he's like tied for first with somebody else. And when I was going to make him manager, I was like, listen, can you still be a manager and handle these 2 accounts? Because one of them's getting a ton of traffic now, and like I kind of want to put somebody else on there with you for you guys to like work that account together. And I asked him, I was like, who do you want me to put on that account? Like, I'll let you pick somebody, pick whoever you want. And they picked this person, the Nigerian. So the thing with the Nigerian is that they had that account that they were sharing with the manager, amazing account. And then I gave them another account that was good, had potential, but didn't have anybody on there really like selling, just didn't have a chatter. It was actually the manager's previous accounts before I moved him to the 2 good accounts. And he had made money on there, but this person just fucking dropped the ball. And so like they were selling, $100 a day, maybe on the good account that he shared with the manager, and barely even sending any messages on the other account. So I reviewed that, and I, was very, because like what goes through these motherfuckers' minds? You know what I mean? I put you on an account, you're expected to sell. Oh, and he didn't submit any reports. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why haven't I seen a report from this motherfucker in 5 days? And so, it all came to light when I reviewed everything. And I was like, it's almost like I feel disrespected. It's like, I gave you a job. I gave you the opportunity to make money. I spent my time training you personally. I assigned you to chatters who are good. I have you in this group. I make these fucking PDFs. I review your chats with videos and like record them for you. And you're not even doing your job. You're not even like trying. And you're not telling me either. You're not letting me know that like something's wrong. So I was just irritated. So basically I said to them, I was like, because the manager told me, he says, we can keep the Nigerian, but what I'll do is I'll just have him send openers to everybody on my accounts. And that would really help me out. He's like, let me have this person send the openers, and then I will, follow up with them and talk to them. I think it actually might be a woman. I think a woman might have fucking snuck in there because it has a profile pic of a man. And what's interesting is that I asked, because somebody, one of the chatters that this person shadowed, said, like, I have them send me a report of how the shadowing went. And they started saying she in the report. And I'm like, she? What do you mean she? I don't hire she's. And he's like, yeah, it's a girl. And then I asked somebody else, and the other person told me that they thought it was a trans woman or something. And I just kind of left it at that. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a fucking woman. Like, her work is cat shit. Okay, so that's why I fired 4 chatters yesterday. To be fair, technically I only really fired 2. 1 quit, but like, okay, fine, he quit. I'll give him that. And the other one, I just reassigned to be like an opener, I guess. Cool. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to like, drop me a comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.